This presentation is to celebrate our 50th wedding anniversary. It all began in 1971, and this is the ad that was in the paper at the time for our anniversary. At the bottom, you'll notice by coincidence that my grandmother died that same week. We gave Mum and Dad 6 weeks notice because we were living in Shepparton in separate houses and decided that was a bit stupid. So they had 6 weeks to organise the day, and it was fabulous. This is Dad and me before the wedding. My dress was made by a friend at school. She was a needlework teacher. I think she did a great job. It was velvet, which is pretty unusual actually. I've seldom seen a velvet wedding dress. Our bridesmaid was Janine, Lorraine's first child. He was only about 4 or 5 at the time, and a little page boy was Steve. He was a couple of years younger. They look fabulous actually. This is a picture of us so relieved as we're coming out of the door of the church. I actually found it really hard to speak, and I was thinking that Sig's mum and dad, or at least his mum, was hoping I wouldn't be able to get out the yes. We were married at a Catholic church because Sig's mum and dad would refuse to come if we got married in any other church, because none of us cared what religion we were married in. We agreed. Our best man was Glenn Brocci, Sig's best friend, and my maid of honour was Judy Foder, my really good friend from university days. This is a picture of my family, Gary, Lorraine, Ron, me, Mum and Dad. And here I am, part of my new families, Sigrid, Rodney, Sigmund and Harry, cutting the cake, which was actually made for us by a friend from Corumburra. This Glenn, Sig's best friend of many years, and Judy sitting on the left. Now there's a few scenes from the reception. Sigmund and Sigrid and my Uncle Tom, a really favourite of mine. This is Harry with us. Here's Rodney, he was a little boy at that time. Dad and one of his sisters, Auntie Phyllis I think, and Mum and Dad with a couple of their friends. Here are our university friends, and in the background you see one of my best friends from school, Cheryl Kemp, was one of my favourite aunties, Auntie Flo and Uncle Joe and Uncle Harold. Not Rodney, we've got Glenn and Marion here, and 2 of my good school friends, Helen and Dale. Look at this, piece de resistance, bell bottoms, and what was that suit called? A safari suit. Totally elegant. This is one of the many cards that I've kept all these years, and this one is from Siggy's Year 12 geography class. According to the Chinese zodiac, we're both rats. Anyway, things have gone pretty well, so maybe it was right. And this is one of the many cards. It was from my brother Ron. These funny looking things were horseshoes given for good luck, and one was from my best friend, one of my very best friends, Elvis Sexton, who gave me one of my own horse's shoes covered in white ribbon. It's funny how in those days they used to go into great detail about what everyone wore, but here it is. This is Sig's much loved Austin 1800. We had it for years. He bought it new. For our honeymoon we just did a trip around Victorian Highland mountainous area. Had a great time at Marysville and where else did we go? Doesn't he look handsome? All that hair. It's the first time we've ever, first and last time we've ever piloted our own boat. $20 later, we had our other one and only anniversary party, and it was held in Maffra at a lovely old homestead. This is my sister Lorraine and Mum. We had a really fabulous day. We've got Lydia and me, of course, and Kelly, very young looking Kelly. And this one is Lorraine and Brett, I think, and Chad and Mum and Dad in the background. And here we have me with my hand on Hayley, Dad and Lorraine, Mum and Siegfried. And wow, look at these young angelic pair, Gary and Cheryl. Remember, this was all 30 years ago.